Welcome back, America. It's Hugh Hewitt, joined now by Donald Trump. Donald Trump, welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Hugh.
I would thought that today, this is our sixth interview, I'd turn to some of the commander-in-chief questions. Are you ready for that?
Okay, fine.
Are you familiar with General Soleimani?
Yes. Go ahead. Give me a little. Go ahead. Tell me.
He runs the Quds forces.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Do you expect
and I
his
think the
behavior?
Kurds, by the way, have been horribly mistreated by us.
No, not the Kurds. The Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Quds forces, the bad guys.
Right.
Do you expect his behavior to change as a result?
Kurds.
No. Kurds.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Kurds because I think the Kurds have been very poorly treated by us. Hugh. Go ahead.
Agreed. So Soleimani runs the Quds forces. Do you expect his behavior is going to change as a result of this deal with Iran?
I think that Iran right now is in the driver's seat to do whatever they want to do. I think what's happening with Iran is, I think it's one of the, and I covered it very well. I assume you saw the news conference. I think Iran it's one of the great deals ever made for them. I think it's one of the most incompetent contracts I've ever seen. I'm not just talking about defense. I'm not talking about a contract with another country. I've never seen more of a one-sided deal, I think, in my life. Absolutely.
Well, Soleimani is to terrorism sort of what Trump is to real estate. He's many people would say he's the most dangerous man in the world, and he runs the Quds forces, which is their Navy SEAL. Do you think they're going to stop?
The gentleman that was going back and forth with Russia and meeting with Putin, I read something, and that seems to be also where he's at. He's going back and forth, meeting with other countries, et cetera, et cetera.
That's the guy. And so do you think...
Not good for us. And what it shows is a total lack of respect. I mean, that the other countries would even be entertaining him, and they're entertaining him big league. Big league.
So when you went before the Senate, and I always tell people my favorite testimony of all time is when Donald Trump just schooled the Senate on the construction of the UN remodel. You know that stuff. You know every developer in Manhattan. You know everything about building. You could build the wall. I have no doubt about that.
Right.
But
by the way, nobody knows how easy that would be. And I mean, it would be tall. It would be powerful. We would make it very good looking. It would be as good as a wall is going to be. And people will not be climbing over that wall, believe me. Go ahead.
You know, I buy that because you're a builder. But on the front of Islamist terrorism, I'm looking for the next commander-in-chief to know who Hassan Nasrallah is, and Zawahiri, and al-Julani, and al-Baghdadi. Do you know the players without a scorecard yet, Donald Trump?
No, I'll tell you honestly, I think by the time we get to office, they'll all be changed. They'll be all gone. I knew you were going to ask me things like this, and there's no reason because, number one, I will hopefully find General Douglas MacArthur in the pack. I will find whoever it is that I'll find, but they're all changing you. You know, those are like history questions. Do you know this one? Do you know that one? I will tell you, I thought you used the word Kurd before. I will tell you that I think the Kurds are the most underutilized and are being totally mistreated by us, and nobody understands why. But as far as the individual players, of course I don't know them. I've never met them. I haven't been, in a position to meet them. If they're still there, which is unlikely in many cases, but if they're still there, I will know them better than I know you.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at because the Islamist extremism is metastasizing. Nasrallah's been there a long time, and al-Baghdadi's running ISIS. And so I wonder if you're going to throw yourself into the details of this during the campaign, the way you did into the UN deal, because you knew that stuff cold.
Well, and unfortunately, I said I'd build it for $500 million. They were at $3 billion. It ended up costing $6 billion, and I told them that would happen. And it was a disgrace. Frankly, that whole UN situation was a disgrace. They ended up spending $5 to $6 billion to renovate a building that I would have done for $500 million. And I told them I would have done it, and it would have been better. Now, as far as what you're talking about now, I will know every detail, and I will have the right plan, not a plan like this where we're probably going backwards based on everything that I'm hearing, but we're probably going backwards. Zero respect. We are not a respected country, and certainly as it relates to ISIS and what's going on, and Iran.
No, I don't believe in gotcha questions. I'm not trying to, quiz you on who the worst guy in the world is.
Well, that is a gotcha question, though. I mean, when you're asking me about who is running this, that is not. I will be so good at the military, your head will spin. But obviously, I'm not meeting these people. I'm not seeing these people. Now, it probably will be a lot of changes, as you go along. There'll be, by the time we get there, which is still a pretty long period of time. You start, let's say, you figure out nominations and who is going to represent the Republicans in, let's say, February, March, April. You'll start to get pretty good ideas, maybe sooner than that, actually. But that will be a whole new group of people. I think what is really important is to pick out, and this is something I'm so good at, to pick out who is going to be the best person to represent us militarily. Because we have some great people militarily. I don't know that we're using them.
All right, let me expand it, because I know it's not gotcha. I'm trying not to do that, but
well,
I wanted to see
like
if
gotcha.
you're
asking me names that I think it's somewhat ridiculous, but that's okay. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Now let me go. All right, last question. I want to go back to the beginning, because I really do disagree with you on the gotcha question thing, Donald Trump. At the debate, I may bring up Nasrallah being with Hezbollah and al-Julani being with al-Nusra and al-Masri being with Hamas. Do you think if I ask people to talk about those three things and the differences, that's a gotcha question?
Yes, I do. I totally do. I think
that's interesting. I just disagree with it. I kind of figured that.
I think it's ridiculous. I'm a delegator. I find great people. I find absolutely great people, and I'll find them in our armed services, and I find absolutely great people. And now, in the bigger picture, like the fact that the Kurds are being treated so poorly, and would really is the one group that really would be out there fighting for us, I think, and fighting for themselves, maybe more importantly to them. I understand that. But when you start throwing around names of people and where they live and, give me their address, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's...
Well, I wouldn't do that. That's crazy. I agree. Well, but it's an interview, not a debate.
By the way, the names you just mentioned, they probably won't even be there in 6 months or a year.
Yeah, I don't know. Nasrallah's got such staying power. And so I think the difference...
let's see what happens. And you know what? In that case... First day in office or before then, right at the day after the election, I'll know more about it than you will ever know. That I can tell you.
I hope so. Last question. So the difference between Hezbollah and Hamas does not matter to you yet, but it will.
It will when it's appropriate. I will know more about it than you know, and believe me, it won't take me long.
But
I
believe.
Right now, I think it's just something that... And you know what? If you ask these candidates, nobody's going to be able to give you an answer. I mean, there may be one that studied it because they're expecting a fresh question from you. But believe me, it won't matter. I will know far more than you know within 24 hours after I get the job.
Donald Trump, congratulations on taking the pledge today. Your numbers are going to go up as a result of that.
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, I'm not sure that that's true. I think my numbers are very high now, but I'm not really sure that that's true. But I know you feel that. I hope you're right. I mean, let's see what happens.
Donald Trump, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.